Hey, what's up, DBI? Riz here, and today we're going to do a role play review. Sorry, this time over The Will Within. And in this log, we have two characters. We have Jean and Torque, who is played by Hypo/Saru. The type it's just a dialogue, and the synopsis is that Torque enters the hiding canvas base for a brief while, and he meets with Jean. And this takes place after the memories of tomorrow. And within this log, I read it a while ago. I read and awarded this log a while ago, and I just apologize right off the bat for it taking so long to get the review. But it's just as it says. It's a small conversation between two characters. This is the first of the actual canvas people that Jean meets, as far as I can tell, after she is rescued by Cordio. And within this log, it's kind of funny because it's very, for the reader, it's hard to tell, like, who's who if you're just looking at it, because they both use the same bright pink for their text. But man, once you start reading how Torque speaks, in which I'm gonna have to guess, like, in my mind and my voice, it was like a weird Irish accent, almost like a dwarf. Really, is how I imagine Torque speaks. But they're really just having a conversation where Torque is just kind of getting into the mindset of who Jean is and what she can and possibly wants to do now that she has this quote unquote freedom that she got from Cordio. I don't know, like, the whole of the story that happened before that, before this log, but from what I surmised from the words that are on page here is that Cordio kind of rescued her, brought her here, and was just kind of like, all right, you're here now, like, you're safe, you can pretty much do whatever it is that you want. And in this role play, that's kind of what Torque is trying to figure out, and trying to get Jean themselves to even realize of, like, all right, you have all the time and freedom in the world. Like, what do you want to do? And what I liked here is that Jean, while being in a safe place, is not immediately indoctored in to the idea of what Canvas is. I mean, even here, they don't even really say that they're going to join Canvas. They don't know these people. They don't really trust these people. To Jean, they're like, I trust Cordio, right? That's my hero. That's who I'm here because of. But I don't know who you people are. I don't, like, your fight isn't my fight, and I don't really see a reason to fight for you. And kind of throughout the log, Jean even asks, like, why would people sacrifice like that? I don't get it. I wouldn't die for no one. Certainly not no one. Certainly isn't one that would die for me. So they're like, why would I do that? Like, that's silly. The whole idea of someone going off and dying for someone else, dying for a rebellion, is completely foreign. And I feel like that's just like the absolute perfect way to approach a situation like this, because all too often, we will role play with our friends, and it's like, yeah, the person sitting in the chair, I'm friends with the other person that's sitting in their chair. I want to role play with you, so your actions are my actions, right? Like, what you want to do reflects what I want to do, but that doesn't always, like, mean that the characters want to do, right? Like, that's not good storytelling. And if you are trying to tell a good story with your character while staying within themselves, yeah, you may question immediately of, like, okay, so all right, I'm at the rebel base, but I don't want to fight the Empire though. Right? That's not me. I actually think they're kind of nice people, but and what's nice is that Torque doesn't press the matter. He kind of is, you can do whatever you want. You can, we'll feed you, we'll give you some clothes, we'll take care of you, but if you don't want to join the fight, you don't have to. And, they continue to kind of have this conversation where he then goes to say, well, looks like you're a Saiyan, and you could go to Vegeta if you want to, like, you don't have to stay here. You don't have to fight our fight, which, is awesome. It's awesome that, she's pretty much been given the world. Like, you can literally do anything that you want, kid. You don't have to be here. If you want to go out and be raised on Vegeta, you can. And what's funny is that by mentioning Vegeta, Jean then talks about her dad. And this was probably the highlight for me because I read Jean's bio. I'm pretty sure I authored Jean's bio. And Jean's bio it's a rough time for this poor character. It's if you guys want to read it, go ahead. It's very it's very dark. It's very not nice. Jean did not have a good upbringing. And I don't know how many times prior to this log that it's even mentioned, but I thought that this was a really good way to put more light onto someone's bio, to like have them explain like, hey, this is my background, this is where I came from. And it's little stuff like this that made me trust Jean to tell stories on our page and in our setting, because they say, I'm from Sector 8 on Earth. And for a new role player, that's huge, right? Because that means that they went to the World Anvil, they researched this, they asked the right questions, and rather than say like, yeah, I was born on planet Vegeta, I'm the attendant of King Vegeta, it's like, no, like this is a story within DBI, right? And my character is a character who lives and breathes within DBI without being their own separate, like. And it's not a bad thing that people create their own stories and their own separate things and bring them to our lore, but it's like, I'm a part of this lore, I'm a part of this world. So that's why I really liked Jean and their background. But yeah, like their dad was a Saiyan, they grew up in Sector Earth, and they don't really care, right? And if you read their story, it would make sense as to why Jean doesn't care about other Saiyans or really even likes them, because the Saiyans in their life weren't very nice to them, nor were the humans. And Jean's always just kind of been on their own. But going on, Torque goes on to say like, hey, well, just because you don't have a home, or your home is where the hearth is, really. Cordio is from Namek, but he's here. Ariel's a Kaio, but she's here. Phineas is from Konats. There was Lei Lin, who's a demon from Eon, and Hypo's from Nig Yellow. So he pretty much says like, we got people from all over. None of them really have a home, but Canvas is their home. And again, it's just more of a conversation. He asks, how'd you end up a slave? And more of Jean's backstory is explained here. And really, in the end, what Jean kind of comes up with is, I think I want to ask Cordio to teach me how to fight. They are attaching themselves to Cordio, and they are, the Gohan to Cordio's Piccolo, and it's perfectly fine, right? I actually would love it if Jean never officially joined Canvas. If Jean was like, hey, I'm not a part of the rebellion, I will fight on their behalf, but I'm fighting for Cordio, right? I don't care about Canvas. If all of a sudden Cordio said, I want to glass Sector 8, that's who I'm standing behind, right? Until their moral obscurity kind of crosses a line to where I feel awkward, I'm going to fight on this person's behalf. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a really good character development starting point, right? I think that's a really good springboard for a character to have a reason to be on page. They have a goal that they want, like they want to learn how to fight. They want to get stronger. They want strength. And Torque's like, yeah, that's a great start. And then Jean, kind of takes it a step further. Like, I want to be someone's hero, right? I want to save someone like Cordio saved me. I want to make someone's life better. I wanna is what they go on and say. And Torque's like, hey, that's great. Why don't you eat something first? We'll get you some clothes, and well, that's where we'll start. And I feel like Torque did a very good job of not pushing the subject of kind of letting Jean have a space where they felt safe and that they could kind of like come out of their own shell and really kind of slowly let the kitten get accumulated to the new area, and maybe they'll come up and sniff you, and who knows, in 6 months maybe they'll want to like sleep in your lap and purr, and that got really weird really quickly. But good job, guys. It's a short review because there wasn't a whole lot to go over, but I did just want to tell you that I did read your log. I did think it was very good, and my name is Riz, and I'll see you guys next time.